let's talk about something we all know way too well, procrastination. You know, that weird habit of putting things off even when you absolutely know you shouldn't. So why do we do it? Let's get into it. Okay, picture this. You sit down, you're ready to go, the laptop's open, the coffee's hot, you're gonna be productive. And then, somehow, almost like your hands have a mind of their own, you're 20 minutes deep into a rabbit hole of cat videos. Sound familiar? And then there's the classic lie we tell ourselves. I'll start in just 10 minutes. It sounds so harmless, right? So reasonable. But that little promise, well, that's the first step on a very slippery slope, and before you know it, hours have gone by and you're filled with that lovely feeling of panic. That entire cycle, that's procrastination. But listen, this is probably the most important thing you're going to hear today. It doesn't mean you're lazy. It is not a character flaw. It's actually a really complex but totally human response. And the good news is we can learn how to handle it. So let's get right to the heart of the matter. We usually think procrastination is a time management issue, right? We get new planners, we download apps, and nothing changes. That's because we're trying to solve the wrong problem. This isn't about your calendar. It's about your feelings. So here's the big reframe. Think of procrastination as an escape plan. It's your brain trying to protect you from a task that brings up some kind of bad feeling, like stress or boredom. It's a quick fix, a way to make your mood better just for a little while. And what kind of feelings are we talking about? Well, it could be anything, really. The soul-crushing boredom of doing your taxes, the anxiety of starting a huge, important project, that feeling of being totally overwhelmed by a to-do list, or even just being flat-out scared that you might mess up. So when your brain is faced with one of those feelings, it does a quick calculation. It goes, this task feels bad. Watching that show feels good. Let's do the thing that feels good. It's a totally primal move, choosing instant comfort, even if it means more stress down the road. And this isn't just some casual choice, It is an actual, full-on battle happening inside your brain. So let's meet the two sides that are constantly fighting for your attention. So on one team, you've got your logical brain. This is the part that plans for the future. It's the one that knows studying now means you'll pass the test later. But on the other team, you've got the emotional brain. It doesn't care about later, it lives for right now, and all it wants is to feel good, immediately. And here's the kicker. When you put those two in a head-to-head fight, the emotional brain's need for instant comfort is incredibly powerful. It almost always wins before your logical brain even has a chance to put its gloves on. Now, to make sure it wins, the emotional brain has a secret weapon: rationalization. It whispers these really convincing lies into your ear to get your logical brain to just back off. Let's go through some of the greatest hits. Oh, this one is a classic. We've all said it, right? We confuse that adrenaline-fueled panic of a looming deadline with being super efficient. But let's be honest, the work we do under that kind of stress, it's usually not our best. It's just the work that gets done because there's literally no time left. This might be the sneakiest lie of them all, because it feels right, but it's based on a total misunderstanding of how motivation actually works. We wait for motivation to strike us like lightning, and we just keep waiting, and it never comes. And this one sounds so mature, doesn't it? I'm just going to de-stress a little before I tackle that big thing. But what do we do to relax? We scroll social media, or we binge watch a show. And that usually just leaves us feeling more tired and guilty than when we started. And that brings us to the one simple truth that blows all those lies out of the water. We have it completely backward. Motivation is not the cause of action. Action is the cause of motivation. You take one tiny little step, and that creates a little bit of momentum. That momentum gives you a little jolt of motivation, which makes the next step just a little bit easier. Action always, always comes first. Okay, so we get it now. The problem is emotional. We know the lies we tell ourselves, so what in the world do we actually do about it? Let's dive into some real, practical tools you can use to break this cycle for good. All right, we're going to look at 4 simple strategies. They're designed to work with your brain, not against it. We're going to talk about making the task ridiculously small, using a simple 5-minute trick, changing your environment instead of relying on willpower, and the one that might surprise you, forgiving yourself. So the first two steps really go hand in hand. First, you have to make the task stupidly small. The idea of studying for 3 hours is terrifying, right? It makes your emotional brain freak out. So shrink it. The new goal is just open the book. That's it. Then you use the 5-minute rule. Just tell yourself you'll do that tiny task for only 5 minutes. Anyone can do anything for 5 minutes. The goal isn't to finish. The goal is just to start. Next up, stop trying to rely on willpower. It's a muscle that gets tired. Instead, just change your surroundings. Make the right choice the easy choice. If your phone's the problem, don't just put it on silent, put it in another room. Make it inconvenient to get to. Set up your workspace so it's ready to go, because your environment is almost always stronger than your motivation. And that leads us to the last and maybe the most powerful tool in the kit, self-forgiveness. Seriously, beating yourself up after you procrastinate just adds more guilt and shame to the pile, which are the exact feelings that made you procrastinate in the first place. So acknowledging you slipped up and then just letting it go, that's not being weak. That's how you reset and get ready to try again. So let's change our goal. The goal is not to wait until you feel like it. Because let's be real, you're never going to feel perfectly motivated to do the hard stuff. The real win is just starting anyway, even when you're not ready. So that's the whole formula. Find that huge, scary task you've been avoiding. Then figure out the tiniest, smallest possible piece of it. That's your new job. And you're going to do it now, not later, now. Because once you move that giant boulder just one tiny inch, it's so much easier to move it the next inch. And that's momentum. It's the amazing reward you only get after you've taken that first, hardest step. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Think about that thing you've been putting off. Don't worry about finishing it. Don't even think about it. Just ask yourself, what is my 5-minute first step? What's one tiny thing I can do right now to just get the ball rolling?